Dear Earth, I'm sorry to hear that you're not feeling too well at the moment. I know you've been going through a few tough years and are worried about how you might cope in the future. You've been doing amazingly well up to now for a body that's around 4,540 million years old. You aren't looking too bad. Through the ages, you've been hit many thousands of times by asteroids and comets, and although many of them have left their scars as craters across your face, you've been clever enough to get rid of most of those scars by pulling wedges of your rocky surface back down inside you and melting them. This is a brilliant piece of planning, because you then throw the melted rocks back out at volcanoes, as streams of lava that then cool to form new surfaces. You even managed to heal the scar that was made when that huge asteroid hit you, the one that caused so much damage to the surface that lots of animals died, including the dinosaurs. That was about 65 million years ago, quite recently in your history. What I really admire, though, is how you deal with the atmosphere that circles above you, making sure that it is in harmony with the rocks and seas that cover your surface, and also with the plants that grow here. Again, a phenomenally clever scheme governs how land, sea and air work together. Carbon dioxide gets pulled out of the air, partly by reacting directly with rocks, partly by being carried in rainwater to streams and lakes, where it again reacts with rocks, partly by being taken in by plants as they photosynthesize. When plants die and rot down, they get incorporated into soil, which becomes rock. That's where all our CO2 goes, gets locked into rocks. But it wouldn't be too much good if all the CO2 was removed, though. The plants wouldn't last long, and neither would we without the plants that support our food chain. So it's good to see that when rocks are pulled back down and melted, carbon dioxide is returned to the atmosphere in the clouds of gas that accompany the new rocks formed at volcanoes. It's beautifully and carefully balanced, and has been for millions of years. It's funny to think that all this activity is the result of the way that bits of your surface fit together like the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. The puzzle is not static. The great rafts of rock, we call them plates, are in constant movement, a process that we call plate tectonics. In some places, like right down the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, the plates are moving apart. At other places, like at the foot of the Himalayas, they're pushing into each other. We can't see the movement. It's far, far too slow, about 1 centimetre or so a year. But over the millions of years that you've been hanging around, the plates have moved, broken up, melted and reformed, constantly renewing your surface and constantly cycling carbon dioxide between the land, the sea and the air. I understand why you're worried. Everything has been working well up to now. Even the odd wobble on your axis is restricted by the calming presence of the moon. You have been able to weather the weather. Occasional ice ages haven't been a problem. The ice always melted before your entire surface was frozen. And even when the temperatures went up, you managed to keep a grip on things and get the temperature under control before the ice caps completely melted, covering your surface in water. You are ill. Your temperature has been rising much faster than it ever has before, and it doesn't look as if the rise is going to slow down anytime soon. This is a real worry for your friends. If you get too hot, then the delicate balance of how carbon dioxide moves between the rocks and atmosphere will be upset. There is already more carbon dioxide in the air than is good for us, deposited there by our industry, by burning of fossil fuels, and basically by wasting our resources instead of being a bit more careful with them. I know what is at the back of your mind. You're scared of turning into another Venus, and it could happen. If the temperature goes up even another few degrees, the ice caps will melt and there will be water but no ice. Ice reflects the sun's rays, preventing us from getting too hot. Water absorbs the sun's rays, which causes the water to heat up and vaporise, putting more water into the atmosphere. This in turn prevents heat being radiated away from the surface, which means the surface gets hotter and more water vaporises and less heat is radiated away. And the surface gets hotter and more water vaporises and less heat is radiated away. And the surface gets hotter and before you know it, you have a runaway greenhouse and there is no going back. And dear Earth, you are unique. The only one of the family of planets that has plate tectonics and the ability to control the balance of gases between surface and atmosphere. You have provided a habitat that has allowed living things to grow and to evolve to where we are now. It is ironic that you enabled a species to develop that is clever enough to understand the processes that allowed it to get this far, but which is far too heedless to do anything about the harm that it is bringing down on itself and on you. I can only hope that we start to learn before it is too late and we have destroyed you with our greed and stupidity. Because you are beautiful. You are our home. And you are irreplaceable. With love, Monica.